Hey, what's going on, Vikings fans? The Skol side back again with another Minnesota Vikings video. We are on the Monday loss, tough Monday, the hangover Monday, coming in after a loss. However, this is a series we're going to be doing every single Monday, win or loss on this channel. It's pretty much who showed up, who didn't. And I'm going to give you 3 Minnesota Vikings players who showed up and 3 who didn't. Now, in a situation like this, obviously I let it sit on me for a night. I mean, if I made this video yesterday, I would have nobody showed up. However, watching game back, thinking about a couple things, we're gonna try to be a little more positive. However, there are some serious concerns. Anyways, who showed up, who didn't? Let's get right into it. Alright, so, anyways, we got our 3 guys who did show up. I'm just going to get the positive first, then we're going to get into the meat of what happened. Anyways, 3 guys who showed up. The first dude I had on my list was Adam Thielen. Now, even when the game was still in hand, he had those 2 big catches on the first drive for 32 yards, and it really seemed like he was going to get going. And he did. He ended up finishing the game, I think it was 7 catches, 110-yard touchdowns, which is honestly, I'll take that day from Adam Thielen any day of the week. Now, on the other hand, you could say it was garbage time or whatever. I disagree. He was still beating Jair. He was still beating Kevin King. It doesn't matter if there's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you're down by 40, or if it's in a close game, you're still beating them. And it's not like we were down by 40 in the first place. They were still trying to get back into the game. And, he played good. He showed up. He did his thing. He was not the reason we lost. The other set of people who showed up today was the running back room. No eye-popping numbers. They both had around 50 yards. Got a decent amount of carries. Cook had the 2 touchdowns. But the reason I put them on here is just they look good. They look fresh, especially Madison. I was really impressed with what I saw from him. And Cook looked good too. The whole running game looked good. It just, when your defense does not show up like that, it's tough to stick with the run. And the Vikings even got away from it, and they still ended up rushing for over 100. Cook had 2 touchdowns. They showed up. Whatever. I expect that out of those 2. It sounded like they had game-breaking performances. However, they did what they could on the amount of carries they got. So, running back room, all good. Now, third, I wanted to put Cousins at third, but however, there's one person on defense that actually played good yesterday, and that was Eric Kendricks. He was really the only one I'd noticed on the screen making big plays. Nobody on the defense could tackle yesterday. Who knew that would have been a problem again? He was the one tackling. He was the one who actually seemed like he wanted to be there, and he just looked like a leader out there. He still looked like the all-pro. There's no real worries for me on him. He looked good, and Eric Kendricks, you showed up. He's the 3rd player that showed up. So we got Thielen, both running backs, and Eric Kendricks. Cousins, kind of honorable mention. However, that pick was really bad, and that kind of did turn the tides of the game. However, he hit some throws, and he still put up 30-plus points in a home division game. So, really, I thought the offense as a whole played okay. Offensive line still problems. Anyways, let's get into who didn't show up. Now, before I preface who didn't show up, number 1 on this list would have been Mike Zimmer. However, he's got a whole video dedicated to himself later, so I'm not going to put Zimmer on here. However, he would have been number 1. But number 1 is the young corners, and mainly Holton Hill. I've been always a Hill guy. I've been always like advocating for him to get more reps. However, he looked awful yesterday. And how many times did the Packers really come over the middle? It was just 5-yard out, or they would fade us down the sideline. It wasn't rocket science what they were running, which was the beauty of it in the Packers offense yesterday. They were just running the ball, pass when they need to, took their shots when they need to. It was very well constructed, organized game. And the young Vikings secondary just got wore down, because honestly, they got some goal line stops. We should have honestly given up 60 yesterday if it wasn't for some miraculous goal line stops. Holton Hill got burned a lot. Dantzler got burned. And you could say, yeah, they're young, but there's got to stop. There's got to get to a point where there just can't be an excuse anymore. And it's just year after year. There's an excuse for this. There's an excuse for that. No, maybe these guys aren't it. We'll see. But I know it's a overreaction after week 1, but you don't look that bad in your debut. You don't give up 43, and it's kind of because of you in your debut. Anyways, DBs, they're at 1, mainly Holton though. Okay, so number 2, it sucks putting this in here, but I am going to put just Ifedi and the defensive line. Now, I was shocked when I saw James Lynch and DJ Wonnum scratched, especially because you spend all these draft picks on a bunch of these dudes, and especially even, I know we're talking about the offensive line, but Ezra Cleveland was scratched. You spend a bunch of these draft picks on these guys and you don't use them. You're just going to run back the same team you had last year, except you lost half of them. That's where I'm just getting the whole mentality. What were you doing during training camp? Like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, I know, like, Dantzler played, but, like, he was only really one where I was like, oh, there's a rookie on the field. I don't know. The whole defensive line, no pressure, no sacks, no nothing. First time since 2010, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been sacked against us, which is tough. That's tough to hear. But anyways, there's no pressure, no consistent stopping the run. I mean, the only time we really got in the backfield was with our linebackers. And just defensive line, they just got owned by the Packers offensive line. It really just seemed like the Packers offensive line was locked in. Unique Ngakoue didn't really do much. First game as a Viking, I'm not going to write him off right now. We missed Daniil, I think. I don't want to use that as an excuse, but when you miss your main pass rusher with a young secondary, that's tough. That's just a makeup for disaster. I wish I would have seen that before the game, so I didn't get my hopes up. Anyways, defensive line at the second group or person that did not show up yesterday. And the third group who really didn't show up again was the offensive line, mainly Pat Elflein. I mean, yeah, in the run game they're fine. But on big plays yesterday, Cousins was getting pressure in his face, and a lot of times Cousins had to run around for his life, and he had to use his legs, which I love seeing. But then again, the offensive line, no real adjustments. I thought they looked okay, but still, if you're going to put all this effort and energy into an offensive line and they still don't show up every week and they just still feel like outmanned in big, important plays, that's the thing that bugs me. It's just like when there's a big play, it's like that's when they fall down. Or like they get a crucial hold or they get a crucial penalty. It just felt like that again yesterday. However, I don't really want to focus too much on them. Obviously, Zimmer would have been here and the third person didn't show up. However, there's a whole video on him. Offensive line, I didn't think it was terrible, but they just didn't show up yesterday, and that's what this is. So, again, offensive line didn't show up. D-line really didn't show up, and secondary really didn't show up. Those are my 3 groups, or people who didn't show up. You know, normally, these would be people. These would be individuals who didn't show up, but so bad yesterday that I got to put in whole groups. So, I mean, offensive line, third one, and Brian O'Neill getting some penalties, false starts, just really ugly game yesterday. Anyways, guys, that was who showed up, who didn't for the Minnesota Vikings week 1 after Green Bay. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 500 subs. Thank you guys so much for that. Love the support on the live stream yesterday. It was fun hanging out with you guys. Sub to the channel, and we'll see you later today. Peace.